And as customary here at our Hart County Board of Commissioners meeting, we start our meetings off with prayer. So I'll lead us in a word of prayer at this time. Dear Lord, just thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for the privilege of living in the greatest country in the world. We thank you for our freedoms that we have here in America. We thank you for our veterans who have fought for our freedoms, and some have given lives, some have given their families, some have given everything they've got, Lord, for us to have these freedoms. And a lot of times I don't think we really recognize this, and may we bring it to our full attention of what it costs for these freedoms. And Lord, we just pray that you would be with our local firemen, our local EMS, our sheriff departments. We pray, Lord, for their protection each night they go out and work and during the daytime. These men and women also make sacrifices to give us the protection here in this country that we live in. We pray, Lord, we just go with us through this meeting. Help us to make the best decisions for the people of Hart County. And Lord, we just pray for the Buddy Spears family that you continue to comfort this family, as Buddy was a great man in this community and done a lot of great work for the people of Hart County, and his legacy will live on. We thank you for all these blessings that you've given to us. In thy name we pray. Amen. Amen. Let's all stand for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call this meeting to order at this time, the June 22nd, 2021 meeting. And again, I'd like to welcome each one here and appreciate you in attendance. And I think we've got some recognitions of some county employees going to be recognized tonight, and we appreciate this. First of all, we need to approve the agenda. Can I get a motion, or we got some additions?
A couple of changes, if you don't mind. I'd like to put Clerk of Court Gray in under Constitutional Officers and Department Heads. And on 12D, the fire department buildings, there's a typo on what I sent out on the date. I was expecting bids back instead of the 22nd, I'd hit the 27th. So let's take it off, and we got a training session. We may, if I get them all in time Friday, or we got a training session Monday night, we may try to have a call meeting to address that during that training session, if that's okay. 29th.
Is Clerk of Court 13H?
Well, 29th. On the 29th, we have the
Open records training.
Yeah, that's Tuesday.
That same night, if we can.
That's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. It's the 29th. I remember the date, but I was thinking Monday.
It said 24th or the 29th, so it's going to be the 29th.
29th, 6 o'clock.
Can we have our meeting at 5:30 then?
If we need to call it to award these bids, award the fire department bill. Again, I don't think it's fair. I don't think.
We have to have one, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to the company, since my type said 27 and not 22nd, to hold it to do it tonight. I've got 3 bids in so far. I've talked to 12 companies, so hopefully we'll get some more prices in before then.
Is it going to be 5:30 or 6?
Let's go 5:30, and then that will give Joey time.
Well, our policy though says we'll open bids in a regular scheduled meeting.
Well, these are email bids. They're not sealed bids. It's going to be less than the amount we was expecting, so it's under that threshold.
We'll do it for Tuesday, I guess. Since we're not opening bids, that's fine.
Okay, Tuesday at 5:30. Everyone good with that? All right, we'll plan on that.
With that taken off, that's the only changes I have.
Is Clerk of Court, is that 13H?
Third court be coming in the constitutional officers.
Oh,
Number 8.
Number 8.
Okay. With those amendments, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
We got a motion by Commissioner Teasley, a second by Commissioner Dorsey. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote. Next on the agenda is approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June the 8th, 2021. Any additions or corrections to those?
Under Commissioners' reports, I think that the record should reflect what the discussion was about. So about the David Cagle letter being read, someone asked that we add those comments to that.
Okay. Any other additions or corrections? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote.
Was there a motion?
We didn't have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can we get a motion to accept the
I'll
minutes?
make a motion, we
Those-
approve the
Okay, we
minutes
got a
with that amendment.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Dorsey, second by Commissioner Teasley. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote.
There you go.
It's 5-0. All right, thank you. All right, at this time, remarks by invited guests, committees, or authorities. Do we have anyone? No. Okay. Reports by constitutional officers and department heads. We do have our clerk of court, Mr. Frankie Gray, here with us tonight. And I would ask all the commissioners if y'all would come down front along with Frankie.
All right, Mr. Deborah, will you come up? First off, I'll say I've had the honor and privilege of knowing Ms. Deborah for many, many years. When I was a police officer and investigator, she worked for the magistrate courts, and she was their main right-hand person in there. And a lot of times I would call her and we'd go over warrants together, and she'd help us get them set up before we got up there. So she expedited things. So her and I became good friends, and when I won the office of clerk of Superior Court, unbeknownst to Miss Selma Cheeley, Deborah and I were in talks about her coming over with me, and so God rest her soul, Selma was a good friend of Deborah and I, but Deborah, before she was able to tell Selma she was leaving her, Selma passed away from a heart attack. So Selma never knew that Deborah was going to come over with me. So Deborah came January 1 of 2010. That's good on me. Selma would have been mad at me. Yes, she would have. But January 1, 2010, Deborah transferred over to the clerk of Superior Court office, and she took Miss Joanne Martin's place. Miss Joanne had been there 34, 35 plus years. And Deborah hit the ground running, and she taught me a lot. She helped me expedite accounting. She helped me in a lot of different areas. But Deborah's one of these workers that the county is going to miss. I missed, and I'm going to miss this because she's one, when she comes in, she goes to work. And Deborah will get quiet. I'll go looking for Deborah. Deborah's nowhere working. She's very dedicated to her job, and from 8 to 5, she is on it. And these are big shoes to fill, and I've already replaced Deborah with her daughter. So I didn't go far from home because I knew if she's half of her mom, she's going to be a great employee. And so I just want to honor, and I called the county. Mr. Lawana talked with me about doing a plaque for Deborah, and I appreciate that, Lawana and Terrell. And I appreciate these commissioners honoring you with this plaque, but it's presented with appreciation to Deborah J. Scott for 23 plus years of service and dedication to the Hart County court system. August 22nd, 1997 to June 30th, 2021. And actually, Deborah told me the other day that she's leaving the 28th. So Monday is her last day. They have a trip planned, and her husband is in the audience here, Mr. Bill. And y'all pray for Bill, because Deborah's going to put Bill to work. Deborah would tell me on a daily basis, you need to do this and do this, and yes ma'am, I'm on it. So Deborah, we appreciate you. It's a big loss to Hart County, I can tell you. I mean, standing up here, this is a huge loss for Hart County. So we got a young lady coming in behind her, but we're going to certainly miss Deborah's stuff. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, get the picture. You want to real listen?
It's right now. I was supposed to remain seated. We're neat right here.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody.
It's always good that when we have employees that have worked that many years to be recognized, and we appreciate Ms. Scott for the years that she has served here. Mr. Gordon, you have anything?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one thing to distribute, just as a matter of interest. You, at your last meeting, voted for a moratorium on rendering plants. And this is my first shot at it, so I'm not even suggesting you take it as a first reading. If you will, take a look at it, and I see a thing, error right now. Sorry. Had not, it's hot off the presses, and I have not had time to proofread it, so please forgive me if you see something wrong. Just put a circle around it and let me know. We'll get that fixed. What we did is used a model developed some years back, 2004, for the private landfill. There were private landfills popping up all over the state, and we wanted to make sure that Hart County got a jump on that so we wouldn't become the county of choice for all the garbage from New Jersey or anywhere else. So that's where this, if it seems familiar, that's where it came from. See another one. All right, well, just bear with me. I think you get the gist of it if you'll take a look at it. I don't know if we have any slaughterhouses now or not. If we do, they are relatively small operations, but I would like some direction on that, because I've got slaughterhouses included in this. That's not really, the slaughterhouse isn't a rendering plant, but it may have a rendering aspect to it. Again, I'm thinking that might be fairly small. So we may want to make a distinguishment there. But there you have it. I'll be happy to answer any questions either now or between now and the next meeting.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions right off the bat?
Hey, the deer processing little places, they're not part of this.
We can, I'm going to make a note of that. We'll make sure that is not exclusions, just as long as, again, I think it might be wise to put aside a requirement.
Right. Well, it says businesses and plants, they don't have plants, they just more or less working out of the back or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Bonds, of course, has a little place over there, but
I think that it could be considered a slaughterhouse to be mighty small. I'll make sure that slaughterhouses gets defined and that gets exempt, because I do know there are a lot of people that process deer. There are others that process hogs, things of that nature. We're not looking to clamp any kind of control on somebody who's doing,
commercial operations. Walter, I appreciate you getting that pulled together. I didn't think you were going to have it based on our conversation, so you're on the ball.
Wish I didn't do it either.
All right. So we'll review this, and at our next meeting, we'll consider taking it at our first reading. County Administrator's report.
Just a couple of things. Just to remind everybody that Chambers got their fireworks Saturday the 26th at Long Point. So just so everybody knows, Friday night around 10 o'clock, we'll close the park down and lock it. Be sure everybody's out and lock it up. Their fireworks people are supposed to be in around 10, 11 Saturday morning to start to set up, and everybody needs to be out while they're doing all that. Of course, the Chamber needs to get in and mark the parking and all that stuff off. So it'll be closed from 10 o'clock Friday night till the fireworks is over, and the fireworks people gets all their equipment out Saturday night.
And that's Long Point.
Long Point, correct. And again, the open records, the open media training Tuesday here at 6 o'clock. Just a reminder of anybody that needs to be coming to it. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Terrell. Chairman's report, I would just like to acknowledge that I had someone come by today and mention to me that they live on a dirt road or gravel road and spent a lot of time there and fixed it up real nice, and they just wanted to be known that they wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate Shannon and his road department. Is a breath of fresh air a lot of times. We don't get that all the time. So I just wanted to tell publicly the road department and Shannon, we appreciate what y'all do. We'll go to District 1.
I'd like to echo you on that. I get quite a few calls from everybody thanking us for what all the people that work for the county does, the law enforcement, the road departments and all. I should have mentioned this weeks ago, but I get this on a weekly basis, and I'd like to thank them as well. Thank you.
All right, District 2.
I'd like to echo the same thing. I've got some calls about the bush hog crew, cutting some roads back, cutting back some brush on our road. Also, got a call from probably, I don't know if it's the same person that talked to you, being I got a call about the road department working on some of the dirt roads, and I appreciate the job that the road department does. And like Commissioner Bennett says, our law enforcement, our EMS and first responders, appreciate what they do, as well as our fire department. That's all I got.
Okay. District 4. I'm going to ask you, District 4, if you would please, I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can, to make a report and not ask Terrell a bunch of questions, because I've gotten some comments from the public that, it's not fair to Terrell to put him on the spot with all these questions, but, as far as the commissioner's report, it is what it says. It's a report to the people, so if you would, I'd appreciate it.
All right. All I got to say is I'll echo what y'all been saying. I appreciate the road department. I know most of the people out here in the county, we do get some bragging on them every once in a while. And it's like I say, just like y'all said, that's kind of unusual.
Okay. Is that all you?
That's it.
Okay. District 5.
A couple of things. I mentioned this last week, but I got dates now. This Sunday, the 9 and 10-year-old Little League All-Stars will be playing down here at the Elberton Highway Complex in the district All-Star Tournament. And then Tuesday, the 10 and 11-year-olds will be playing here as well. Want to encourage everybody about the pre-4th and the fireworks to please be safe. And then I also want to echo the comments that the chairman made earlier about Mr. Buddy Spears. He was a gentleman who did a lot for this community. His son, I don't know how many people know this, is actually a deputy sheriff and has been with the sheriff's department for years, but we lost a good one last week. So very civic-minded and community-oriented gentleman, and Buddy Spears will be missed, but his legacy will live on. So that's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you. Now we'll move on down to old business, 12A, amendment to the Chapter 46 Land Development Standards, Requirements, Streets, and Other Rights of Way, third and final reading. Can I get a motion to accept this as third and final reading?
I make a motion to accept it.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Bennett.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Dorsey. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? Okay, it's 5-0 vote. All right, now we'll get down to the bid award for recreational football uniforms.
Yes, y'all have the bid tab there and the minutes from the Rec Advisory Board meeting, where they recommended to award the bid to Carey Sports.
All right,
I'll make a motion, we award the football uniforms to Carew Sports.
Second.
all right, we got a motion by Commissioner Dorsey, a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote. Now we'll move on to the cheerleading uniforms.
Again, you've got the same documentation, the bid tab and minutes from the Rec, where they're advising to award to the same vendors, Carey Sports.
I make a motion that we award it to Carey Sports.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Teasley, a second by Commissioner Carter. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote. All right, we deleted D, so we'll move on to new business. 13A, Board of Elections, Republican appointment vacancy.
Right, what you have is the resignation letter from Mr. Alston. You have a letter from the chairman of the Republican Party with a nominee, Ms. Rosemary Victory. And you also have a letter that outlines the process which Ms. Victory was nominated. I believe that's what we was lacking at the last meeting. So,
Okay. Can we get a motion to approve this nomination?
So moved.
We got a motion by Commissioner Carter. Second. We got a second by Commissioner Bennett. Any discussion?
Yeah. There's clearly a disconnect between the bylaws for the Board of Election and apparently with the political parties. The way we've talked about this and interpreted that the party should, and I don't care how it is, we just need to make sure that whatever we are doing, we're following the bylaws, which is going to be what we're doing. What the parties do, I think both parties and the Board of Elections need to come together and revisit these bylaws, and the parties revisit theirs so that there's a clear process. The reason I say that is if you look at Section 5.3 in the County Board of Elections, it can be interpreted that the candidate should be selected by the party's membership as a whole. There's different interpretations. People have different ideas here. But my thoughts are this is an opportunity to clean this up so that the next time we have an issue, this whole situation can be totally transparent and be done. I know some of the commissioners interpret 5.3 the same way I do. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are, but I think this is an opportunity to get these aligned because the party's working toward one set of bylaws and the election board has a different set of bylaws.
Right, and for further clarity, this was not on the agenda last meeting. I think there was some hope that it would have been on the agenda. But if this had been put on the agenda and we have not approved this nominee, then there's an argument that they would have to go back and renominate someone, and that would disqualify the one that had been nominated. So we were actually wanting to be real careful here and not to jeopardize this nominee is the reason until we got some clarity on how this process worked. Now, we do have a little bit more information than we had the last time, such as how the process worked as far as the voting. But I do understand Commissioner Dorsey's concern of, when it says Republican Party, does that mean the general membership? Does that mean the executive committee? Or, and I agree, there's some clarifications that need to be made. But with that said, we do have a motion, Commissioner Carter, and a second by Commissioner Bennett. Any other discussion?
Why would we not incorporate this recommendation into the motion to, let's get this cleared up now? Or at least, redo 5.3 in the Board of Elections bylaws whenever both parties are on the election board, because really it wouldn't be fair to either party to do it lopsided. You need both parties to be represented. But I just think that this needs to be cleaned up so that, and aligned kind of with the party process so that everybody's doing it the same way.
Mr. President,
Just a second, let me have one. I spoke to Walter about that. He needs to study it and see what the process is for changing those bylaws.
They may have to go to the state legislature.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know the answer to that question at this point in time. So to put it in with the motion, I'm not sure where it's appropriate or not.
Well, this is what the board's expecting to come back. That's all I'm saying, because now's the time to do it, because we get another one of these appointments 2 years from now, we may have the same discussions. Let's take care of it now. Let's get it clear cut so that it's totally transparent and everybody knows the process going forward. That's my point.
Mr. Chairman, I would only suggest that it not be part of
The motion.
but it's a separate motion.
Okay. Because we're taking care of a certain item at this time. Okay.
Ron Johnson, Chairman of the Hart County Republican Party. Mr. Dorsey, first of all, we follow these rules here.
Nobody said you didn't follow the rules.
Okay, we follow these rules here. We also follow the rules of our party, the district, the state GOP, and the RNC. You're suggesting that we change ours to meet up with what that local legislation was.
I'm just saying that I think they all need to be aligned, both parties, and that way it's all clear. If it's
Then
not
they
gonna be
need
done,
to
that's
change
fine.
theirs. Because ours is the executive boards on every one of those organizations I just told you about does the everyday business of those parties.
And which,
Would you take your hat off?
in which part, who makes the final appointing part? This board, which is operating on a different set of bylaws. That's my point. These things are conflicting. Let's get the language cleaned up, and if it's the county board of elections, if it just needs to be tweaked to take 5.3 out where it says that about the parties, I'm good with it.
5.3 says the county executive board of the political party. That's how that should read.
Should read, but it doesn't.
Well, that's not our problem.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
So
You're
talk
gonna
to your election board.
You didn't listen to what I was saying earlier. I said once this board is filled, you will have representation by both parties, and this is a time to try to look at clarifying some of this. This board has done a favor by doing what we did last week, because you could read this, that if it's not, the person's not approved after this is on the agenda, then they've got to find another appointee. All I'm trying to do is get clarification here so that we don't have this discussion going forward. And if you go and talk to previous party chairmen of each party, and I know the chairman has talked to one as well, the process that was followed this time may be a little bit different than what was done in the past. I don't know, there's nothing documented, but based on verbal conversations.
There is something documented. We did an electronic vote, which has been happening for the last
He's talking about in the
5 years.
past.
Oh, in the past.
That's
You're
correct.
right. I will agree with you. There are no documentation.
That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to get this thing streamlined, clear cut, so that there will be no discussion about 5.3 going forward. If the parties are going to select it, that's fine. If the executive committee is committee's going to select it, that's fine. Let the Board of Elections change the bylaws of the Board of Elections and be done with it. That's my
Rest
point.
assured, our executive board, our parliamentarian is a lawyer, all right? We've got all professionals on our board now, every one of them. Rest assured, I've been doing this for 12 years. I've set up about 35 or 40 different counties under 80,000 in population in this state. We know what we're doing here. We're going to get this thing right. That's why I was elected over the person that was there. And I agree with you. If you need to change theirs, then change theirs. We're not changing ours. It's nationwide, that's the rule. So if you'd like to call...
Mr. Chairman, can I ask you for a point of clarification? You're saying that nationwide, that a subgroup of the party, that is the executive committee, makes that selection,
Makes those selections, yes,
and not the party
not
itself?
the party itself.
And Walter,
Everyday business.
It's under section 5.3.
I'd like to see the national procedure on that.
Okay, there's 5.3 that calls for the executive committee to do the day-to-day operations, which would include replacing an elector.
I don't know that that's correct, Chris. I do, however, believe that the law is set up to provide for a discretionary nomination by two parties.
This is what,
One party that received the most most votes in the last election, the other party that received the second most votes in the last election. They are the ones who make the nomination, which is then typically approved. And I do believe that a party can determine its own method of selection. I think Mr. Dorsey's question came from the fact that it appeared to, this one appeared to use a different method than before. But if you could just let me have that one, the national rule that he spoke about, I'll throw it in my file. We'll be fine.
You want the district and the state also?
Yes.
You want the whole package, Walter?
Sure.
Okay.
That's that book that I carry with me.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, I think, what was the motion? I'm sorry. Should be
Commissioner
to
Carter
ratify.
to approve the nominee.
I think the wording should be a ratify the nomination, is what we...
That was what the executive committee
no,
should
Board
do.
of Commissioners says approval.
Yeah,
Bylaw
it's
says approval.
we approve, they
All
ratify.
right, I got you. We just want to double check, be sure we
Right.
get all that.
Commissioner Carter made the motion to approve, and Commissioner Bennett second the motion.
Okay.
So, any other discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote. All right, we'll move on to,
Do we need to vote on getting work on changes?
There was a motion in a second. Did they withdraw that?
yes,
And they did another motion? Okay, I didn't hear you.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think the other motion never was.
We never did add it to it,
We never made a motion.
but we will be following up.
First, there was a motion and a second on whether to approve. To approve, right.
Right.
We done that.
Nothing was added to them.
I thought you were talking about to add the other,
No, sir.
That was for our nominee, right?
Right, it's done, it's over. Come. Yeah, now, is there a wish to make another motion about the...
Give Walter time to look and see if it's got to go through the
Yeah,
legislature or not.
let's- yeah. As far as the Board of Election
Board of
bylaws.
Bylaws.
Right.
Okay.
What was created by the legislature.
Okay, all the way to subdivision partial C-54B 073001, Reed Creek Highway, Swan Sanders Road. This is subdivision approval. That's before us.
The location of this is up at the intersection of Swan Sanders, and I apologize, I got two, so I'm talking funnier than usual. It's at the intersection of Reed Creek Highway and Swan Sanders. It has been approved by the health department. It does have county water supply. And I'll zoom in if y'all need to see any more clarity on
All these are at least half-acre lots.
It meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, correct?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve this subdivision?
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Carter. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All right, any discussion?
Yes. Are there going to be any plans for Lot 16?
Just as a house possibly. By the time it meets the requirements to have the 60-foot that's required by the county. And there's a swale in the back, that's why it's a lot bigger. And so, but there's plenty of room for at least 2 septic systems if anybody wants it.
Well, when I look at that distance, it's 59.99 feet. It's got to be a minimum of 60.
I apologize, that is a typo. I can guarantee I had one that y'all approved with 45 not that long ago on Rick Creek Highway, just up the street. But that's just a typo. I can fix that to 60, not a problem.
My question here is, and we're getting into these small lots, and I think there's some consensus on the board, half-acre lots are going to be short-lived. But my question is there going to be a phase 2 to come in here and do?
The soil doesn't suit the phase 2.
And where's that note on?
It's approved for one home right now. Nobody would spend the money to build a road through that stretch and build a road back. It costs way too much to do that, to get a yield that would, unless it was on the lake, it's not on the lake.
I don't have a problem approving it contingent upon the correction of typo if that is a, and then a note about that this back lot can't be subdivided.
Okay, that's fine.
The reason I'm doing this, Aaron, is somebody's going to come in here 5 years from now and put a road in here and try to do this on the backside. That's why I'm asking that question.
Yeah, I believe that. My client will have a problem with that. The only thing I would ask is if potentially, if they would sell it to a neighboring, if maybe they could keep that 60-foot piece, and if they sold it to a neighbor. So, potentially do that, because that has been talks with one of the neighbors that would like that as a buffer. And I would just like to say if we did subdivide it, but only one home would still be placed on that property. So.
I'd like to iterate here. The only problem I have is it meets all the guidelines. Everything's good. All ordinances. But this thing of an established subdivision, there's 28 houses, I think, in there. That everybody bought an acre lot, and now...
That's a different one.
We ain't got there yet.
I thought this was one we owned.
It's a half.
This is on the corner of 51 and Swan Sanders,
15 lots.
beside the Dollar General.
Okay. Well, excuse me there.
Yeah, I would be okay with that saying that it couldn't be divided, the lot, the 16, the last
16.
But if maybe if we could cut the 60-foot strip off and maybe add it to the neighboring lot if somebody buys it adjoining. That would be my only request, if possible. So.
I do agree with Commissioner Dorsey, though, the half-acre lots is going to be short-lived.
No, you're talking about a combination between that 60-foot and the lot.
Adjoining. Yeah, and yes, and then the remainder would possibly, in the future, could possibly go to a neighbor that's contiguous.
But would that neighbor not want to keep that 59.99 foot of road frontage on Swan Sanders?
Negotiation. You know how that goes.
All right, any other discussion?
So,
I mean, if that's the deal killer, we'll, you know, we'll definitely stick with leaving that 60-foot strip with that lot. That's, I mean, I'm not gonna.
well, I don't think anybody's got a problem with it. It's just see potential problems down the road with that big section back there as far as a...
Yeah, it's the beginning of a swale that comes in there, and it goes and feeds a pond down below it, and there's a lot of star soil. There's obviously the health department has approved that there's plenty enough soil for at least, you know, one 4-bedroom home. But I can, you know, maybe in the future we can start showing soil maps, and I can highlight, you know, what's good and bad for y'all. I mean, just what Lily sees, so you can kind of see that is. But also, I mean, it can't be divided unless somebody does build a road, per the ordinance. I mean, because it don't have, you know, it don't have 60 feet.
But with the infrastructure already there, it would be very cheap to do that versus running a water line 1,000 feet to tie in.
Oh, I mean, they'd have to build a road over there.
I understand. But I mean, it's not like the water line's got to be run 1,000 feet or whatever.
Build, I mean, just the cost to build a road
It'd be expensive.
Yeah, plus, you know, all the other things that go with it, the roads and everything.
So I'm good with approving it, provided one, a review of the distance for L1 is confirmed to be 60 foot or greater, and two, that there be a note on here that lot 18 can't be subdivided.
16.
Is that
The motion and second we got on the floor is
Yeah, it's already motion second on the floor.
to just approve.
Right, I understand.
Fill out
To approve.
to approve without the caveats.
You're going to have to put the caveats on it because it doesn't meet the subdivision requirements because it's not 60 foot based on what you've given us. So you're going to have to put at least one of the caveats on the motion to approve or grant a variance.
Richie, will you amend your motion?
Yeah, I amend my motion to make that 60 foot,
Not subdivided.
not subdivided.
Amend your second.
Lot 16.
I second.
Oh, Marshall's, I'm sorry. Can't read my own writing, excuse me.
I mean, my
I got
second.
the M right, though.
Yeah, there you go.
I was on the wrong page.
Yeah, that's right. Benny wasn't even with us out there. But anyway, we got a motion second. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote. Okay, the next, get with us here, Commissioner Bennett. I think this is
Yeah, I
where you
guess.
was at, right here.
Yeah, I agree.
13C, Silver Oaks Home, North Lake subdivision, revision. So this subdivision has been to this board several times, I think. I think this is the second time since I've been on the board.
Actually, been through here this, the fifth, second time, should be fourth time.
Fourth time. And the issue I have here is you've got people that has bought parcels of land and built houses with the understanding of how this subdivision was going to be designed, and now all of that's going to change. We're going to add to the population of this subdivision. We're going to have more traffic in this subdivision. So that's my concern with this subdivision. As far as any other
I agree with you.
commissioners have any discussion?
We also have a problem here too. Yeah, I agree with exactly what you're saying, but if you look at the right-of-way on Swan Sanders Road, on this subdivision, it's 40 foot. On the one we just approved before, it was 60.
The road getting there, right away getting there on down the road.
We need to get that road resurfaced soon.
Well, now, is that the subdivision road that's 60?
No, that's the county road.
Well, mine says 40.
It says 40 here, but on the other one it says 60.
60 on the other one.
Mine says 60 in the subdivision.
Going off of the previous, I mean, honestly, this subdivision, it got, you mind if I get up and... No, come on.
Yeah, come on.
This thing goes back to like 2004, 2003.
Yeah, I believe it's 2004, and it was, originally done. I believe the guy's name was Okay, yeah, I got you. It was originally done by a guy, but I believe his name was Joe Clark. It went through the board. At the time, county water was nowhere near. It wasn't even, thought about in that area. Those lots were designed as an acre to meet those requirements at the time of the current because they couldn't get county water. It wasn't feasible for them to put in a EPD well system. So they went with, 1 acre lots. So now county water is available. I believe it was, I believe, Mr. Parker at the time. He went and paid to help, put it through the whole entire subdivision. As a part of trying to help recoup some of that cost is to make the lots, smaller. Where they didn't go and take, like you see, there's even one that's 1.013. Yeah, we could have chopped it further. Mr. Doug Mock and Silver Oak Homes, they bought that, property from them. This is actually the last, I'd say there's another little portion that we haven't touched yet, just kind of some bigger lots, but all the lots in the interior, y'all have already approved to do exactly what he's doing, which is taking, I believe it's, I forgot exactly the number, if it's 8 lots, turning it into 12. He's not cutting them all in half. He's just trying to help increase the yield. So. Because county water is available. I mean, y'all done a good job running county water. Why, part of the reason that we love having county water is we can make smaller lots and get better yield. That's just, not just in the county, but on the lake. That's where I believe the half acre would hurt. I'm not saying every lot in the whole county needs to be half an acre, but I do see that, especially on lake property, where half acre is going to be a huge thing, having, meeting the requirements. Health department, no problem. But this is something y'all have already approved. This isn't new to the board. This is something y'all did across the street. We've been working on this since last year. We've been working with the health department. She previously was using the level 3 soil work that was done in 2002. She actually made him go back and have that all redone. He's got a lot of money in that to have Mr. John Phillips out of PTS Engineering had to come back, dig more holes, provide a new map. He's been working on this for, 6-8 months at least, if not close to a year. We've been working on this with Miss Sherman at the health department, trying to get it approved. We actually started on this when we did the interior lots, the A through I think N, where we did the same thing. Didn't cut them all in half, but we did increase the yield with having county water.
What's the plan for the road?
With the road?
The road. Mm-hmm.
The interior, the new road? Mm-hmm. It's paved.
Yeah, but what's the plan? Is it going to remain private, or is it going to be?
I can't speak for Mr. Mock. If it's something, if it meets your requirements, then
The reason I'm asking the question is you go in, you can see the subdivision ordinance requires curb and gutter unless you got the side shored up where you don't have erosion and ditches and that kind of thing. There's places in there where the asphalt's actually breaking off because there's no shoulders. And with this thing changing hands, for this to be even considered for a county road, there should be $1 million bond on file down here at the Board of Commissioners office. And my question is, and I don't think we have one on this subdivision. With this thing changing hands like it has, there's a lot of questions I have on this subdivision because it's changed hands. It's kind of a revolving door per se as far as what's going on, changing the layouts, changing ownership. And there's been a lot of development in there. There's probably 40 houses in there now.
Yeah, and there are some of the lots there's only a handful that are actually the original lots. So some of the very first ones that were sold, there's only a handful of the original 1 acre. The rest of them have been what Mr. Mock's done. And Mr. Mock's, he's owned it for several years now. But as per the road,
the economy tanks tomorrow.
Yeah.
Building shuts down. Mm-hmm. Those folks in there are going to be looking for the county to take that road over. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. We've seen it happen time and time again. And that's going to be one of the things that I want to confirm that this is compliant to our subdivision ordinance. Right now, I've got questions. It may be, it may not be. I don't know, and I don't want to throw Terrell under the bus or blindside him, because you read the subdivision ordinance, there are requirements for the road stuff in there, and there has been some stuff done, but
Yeah, there's been a lot of work done on that road. I mean, there are, and like you said, there are requirements, but I mean, shouldn't a bond been made when y'all originally adopted that subdivision back in 2002 or 4?
they didn't start developing it. So,
The road was built already.
but it wasn't paved.
It was actually approved initially as a
Experimental.
Experimental.
But it doesn't waive it from that right, I mean, that requirement to have the bond. This thing has been drawn out for so long, there's things that are falling through the cracks. And there are other developers who have looked at this and said, back in '06 and when things started picking up again, well, here's a subdivision y'all approved that doesn't have a paved road.
Yeah.
So
I
there's,
could show you several subdivisions y'all approved where there's not even a road.
well, but I mean, nothing of this magnitude where,
There's about, 8 lots right over there next to Savannah River that are approved by this commission. The road wasn't
it was
even
never done because they went bankrupt. You're
It
talking about
did.
Savannah River Club.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm all for
that.
Yeah,
But what we're saying is this one is going forward. This one is this one is maturing. It's probably 50% full.
yeah.
But those people in there are paying taxes, and they're going to want those services. So that road should have been inspected to make sure that the base was compacted like it was supposed to be. And to my knowledge, nobody in this county has even been involved in the paving part. So it's going to be hard pressed to get me to take that road in as a county road. But if we're going to do it, there's got to be a bond, and everything's got to be put in place. So that's why I'm going to talk about this one more later. But
honestly, there's 8 lots that are already approved. They can go build on them tomorrow. They're just asking for a few more. They're not asking for anything you have not already approved. Not that long ago. Within the last 18 months.
And we probably shouldn't have approved it at that time. There wasn't anywhere near as many houses in there as there is today.
Let me ask a question.
Yes.
Let me clarify the right-of-way. The right-of-way on my list is 60 foot for the whole road.
And, I took that off the original subdivision survey that was done previously, so. And then this ain't the first road that there's about 4 different right-of-ways on.
Yeah, it could vary from lot to lot.
Yeah, several, it just depends on, the owner and if there is even a deed, that's what's actually done.
All right, Commissioner Carter, I had a question.
Yeah, there's something you said a while ago. Many of these things approved years ago with bigger lots. And now,
Yeah.
is these lots is bigger, is being cut in half basically to get smaller lots. Is that what we're looking at?
They're not cutting them all in half. They're not making, 10 out of 5. They're probably increasing 25 to 33% instead of, double like they could. So,
Does the developer talk to any of the property owners in the subdivision?
I'm not going to speak for them. I wouldn't know. So,
I got another question. There's been a lot of talk, and it's kind of hard to look at, see what we're talking about, just sitting here looking at different pages.
Yeah, it's not clear.
It would be nice to have the whole thing laid right in front of us, so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, the reason I made it bigger for the drainage easements that were required by the health department, which honestly, they need to be on every survey that has that. And that was part of the problem with the older plat, was the drainage easements didn't follow where they're supposed to. We actually went and ran in all the ditches and made the drainage easements exactly where the water is flowing today.
Yeah, I'd like to see the whole thing. I know we can't do all that tonight, but I'd like to see the whole thing like it sits today. And do a little research on it before.
Can we pull up that tax map? I think it's been evaluated.
Since I'm on the right page, I'm going to go ahead and finish what I had to say.
Yes, sir.
I'm not big on splitting these lots up after the subdivision is established. But as I've mentioned to a couple other people, and like you said, you are within all the guidelines, and other stuff has been approved. And I understand that, so we need to make changes. We can't do them tonight. It's not what you're asking for.
Yeah, just a major thing has happened since that original, which is the county water. That's huge. That's huge. Pack Orange
owner would love to have as many customers as he can, and
It changes everything when they get county.
it does. It does. It changes. I'm glad it's running. I'd love to see more of it, of course. But yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job running it. And why run it if you're not going to get as many customers as you can?
Well, we're working on Newburgh, so you can sell some property down there.
Well, we changed the lot size a couple of years ago from
Tiny houses,
half acre.
120 by 100.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see what he's saying, like how it sits now with the lots across the street that y'all have already previously approved. Across the street, inside what we call inside the circle, and you can see, that was, y'all have already approved it. Honestly, what they're doing on this outer portion, we call it, this northern outer portion, isn't even as severe as what was done that y'all approved on the interior portion.
You're talking about that curve on the left, right there.
Yeah, everything inside the circle was approved, just not that long ago.
Are they small lots?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Well, the other
How
problem,
big's them lots, Aaron?
At least a half acre. The smallest ones are going to be a half acre.
the problem
They
also.
were originally an acre, though.
Yeah, some of them a little more. We had to increase that one because there used to be an old pond bed, and so of course the soils in an old pond bed aren't going to be suitable.
So if you go up to the top of the pair,
Yeah, if you go top, you'll see that those 2 lots were turned into 4, which are half acre lots. And
all right, so here's a problem. You look at the 2 outer lots there, the fact that it's got the curvature of the road, and you got the 40-foot setback on the front, you're really taking away a lot of the
yeah, we fit a house
opportunity
there.
there.
We
Yes.
fit a house there.
Very small.
I mean, that's what's fit in the neighborhood. That's what what the market's been doing. I mean, they're not hardly even sitting on the market long. I mean, honestly, y'all done a fantastic job bringing the jobs here. I mean, I sat on the housing board where I had Purina, Lake Foods, and them saying, "Hey, we can't even think about our next phase until we have a place to put our employees." And so, I mean, we've been on a housing task force, and the whole thing was to get housing in Hart County. And this is what we're doing. I mean, the jobs are here, and obviously we can't even hire enough people, and they want, from what I was, in those housing meetings, they want their employees to live in Hart County. Instead of having to try and recruit them out of Anderson and Commerce, they want them to live and work in the same area.
Well, we do too. You don't need to create jobs somewhere out of state, but
I'm gonna make a motion, we deny this expansion. And let's move on. We all feel the same way.
We got a motion to deny the approval of this modification of Silver Oaks home. Do I have a second?
I got a question. If we ain't gonna get no second, they don't need to worry about it, Doc. Still got that. What is illegal because we've already approved the inner side? Is that coming?
Everything we've approved has met the current subdivision order.
That's inside. But that's why I'm kind of concerned here that we allowed the ones inside to go, but now the ones outside we don't allow.
Well, what he's got right now meets the current order. Exactly. That's
But we
what
still
my
have to
point is
approve it.
too. I don't care for it at all, but he's staying within the laws. I'll be honest with you, I don't care for the little lots. But you're within the guidelines that was created right here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we've been talking about for, a few months now. I mean, obviously there's some changes being made. It's hard in the way to make it, as in, we got lake properties and agricultural properties, but it's hard to make blanket things throughout the whole county.
But how do you justify to that person who come in, who bought at an acre, and keep in mind, there's been a lot of houses built in there in the last year and a half. A lot. There was nowhere near as many houses in there today as there was when that was done. How do you justify to that person who made that investment with the understanding this is all going to be acre lots, and now you're going to go and cut them in half, and then you're diluting their value? How do you justify that to them who they've worked hard, they've made their investment, and You know, I'd be willing to look at it more so if people down there were speaking in favor of it. But there's people down there who are opposed to this.
Well, I will also say if if I bought in that subdivision, there's not protected covenants that say, most subdivisions like this have covenants that say you cannot divide lots to make more lots. That's not the case. There's no zoning in this county to prevent anything. Everything's going by the rules. You might hurt, when you buy something like that, that's just, you take that chance.
I made some phone calls. There is no HOA or covenants up there.
Yeah, and so,
Yeah, I was trying to shoot it down with that, but couldn't even do it.
and that's the case. If you buy in a place that doesn't have zoning, it doesn't have restricted covenants, you're subject to.
That's right.
My position, and I would go on record to say this, is this subdivision is not even compliant right now from the road standpoint alone.
Excuse me.
All right, just to bring up another question. I had to have our attorney handle this. If this was approved in 2004, why was the road not done properly at that time?
Well, that's what I was fixing to say. I'm sure I have road files on that road. That was during John's tenure here. I'd have to go back and look through the record. I feel sure that if they was inspected, as it was being built.
There's no way they could have been, Terry. There's no way they could have been. It could have been when they were graded, but not from the paving standpoint, because we didn't have anybody to do it.
I do know they had to haul in some dirt in some soft areas and some gravel to get it, the right way. Whether or not they instructed the road department or not, I don't know.
Subdivision order, there's a checklist that the road superintendent goes out and checks every step of the thing.
Can you find a record of that?
Again, I would be willing to bet that that's here in the file cabinet. I haven't had my hands on them, I haven't looked at them. I would certainly expect them to be there.
And in most municipalities, the process is preliminary plat review and approval through a planning commission or board of commissioners. Then, once the road is built and approved, a final plat isn't even presented until a road is, and all the utilities have been inspected, as built, or whatever is required. Hart County doesn't have that. There's so many plats that have been approved, and the road they hadn't even put a shovel of dirt out. To prove people selling lots off of them, just because it's going by the ordinance. It's your ordinance. We're just going by your ordinance.
The ordinance requires a paved road, so unless they're in some kind of experimental or otherwise variant subdivision for which private access is approved by the board.
Yes, the history is it first came in an experimental subdivision. It sold, it came back in, it was approved as a regular subdivision to have to comply all the requirements of the subdivision. And then since it's changed hands, and these lots have been split in the middle of it, came back in here to keep. This is the fourth time the subdivision's been in here over a long period.
LaWanda, do you know if we have a bond?
I make a motion we table this till we get some more clarification.
Good idea. I'll second that.
And I'd like to ask, when is the last road y'all did get a bond on? What new subdivision?
Let me dig a little farther in the roads. The roads are not taken into the county
So a year after.
until, they can't put the last coat of paving on them until 80% of the houses are built within the subdivision.
Say that last again.
They can't put the finished coat of asphalt on these roads until 80% of the lots are built out. Then that final coat has to stand for a year, 2 years. 1 year, then it's gone back and it's recorded again at the developer's expense to see if it meets all the standards, just like we've done on one of the roads off of Mount Albert Road here a couple, 3 years ago. We took that road in as a subdivision that was started and went bankrupt and was sold. But that's the procedure. Once 80% of the lots are built out on, the final coat of asphalt is put on, it has to sit for 12 months, and then it's recorded and retested. Then the decision is made whether or not that road comes into the county or not.
But the bond should be in place up front.
Now, that I don't know. I've never got a bond on anything that's done since I've been here. Now, what happened, past before that, I'm not aware.
I do know of circumstances where the bond was posted at the time there was a request that the road become part of the system, and that would have been after it was already built. And the requirement is that there's a bond in an amount necessary to repair the road if it should fail in the first 12 months.
That's correct. But we also have always been told, too, the developer's plans up front, is this, the plan's going to be for this to be a county road, or is this not going to be? We know nothing about this road.
Well, my concern with that is we shouldn't allow them not to be a county road because they're going to do the cheapest thing they can do, move on, and then we're going to get hit with it later on.
That's why you go back and see what's there.
If y'all want to table this to the next meeting, I'll find all the records on that road. I feel sure it was inspected while John was here.
We're not here approving any kind of roads. We're here approving building
Yeah,
spots.
right, it's kind of a move.
I mean, I don't know where the road, I don't understand where the roads come in at.
I agree.
We do have a motion to table this till we get some clarifications on some, not only roads, there's some other issues. And then we got a second by Commissioner Carter. Any other discussion? All in
So it's
favor?
tabled to the next meeting.
Yeah, table the next meeting. All in favor? 5-0 vote. All right, next on the agenda is the setback variance request, Paranormal Drive. And I think we've had this issue before where this property was bought in 1998, and then our ordinance went in effect in 2010 or 12 or somewhere in there. Well, it's not. What I'm getting at, we changed the rules after the property was already purchased. So get a motion to approve a variance.
Well, I think we need to see what's going to be built before we just go and approve a blank check. I don't think anybody on this board has a problem granting a variance here because it's the right thing to do, because technically it would really be grandfathered. But the setbacks were changed to match the Corps of Engineers on the sides, and that's when we come up with 40 foot on the front. So,
Is there anybody here that,
Aaron? Property owner right here, and this is Aaron, he's familiar with
Your note says to sell or build. What's your intentions?
Actually, we have done the contract, and then
I'm not the hat cop here. So anyway.
I have a buyer for it and
This is to sell the property.
to sell it, yes, sir.
So that's your intentions, it's not to build. We just need to clear that up because Commissioner Dorsey mentioned, see what you wanted to build there. So,
I didn't even know there was a setback. The building buyer contacted Mr. Bartani, and then he did mention that they have a setback now.
Yeah, there wasn't one in 1998, I think, when you purchased the property. So can we?
This is the next house to it.
Yeah, I blew that up and figured,
And the best I can remember, about 15 foot off
excuse me.
I sketched the 40-foot line in on that, kind of blew it up so we can see and sketch the 40-foot line on so you can see.
Right, he's not a set, right? Okay.
The house here, the other one over here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and then also just when you pull up, I mean, I can just grab this from y'all's desk right up here, and it says that the building setback, so if you're gonna go build a house in Hart County, that for parcels of land subdivided after 2000. And so that's for just something I just grabbed out from the.
I make a motion, we approve the variance.
Second.
You got a motion, Chairman?
What are you giving the variance for? The whole 40 foot? Or
I think it's,
that's the point. That's where the issue is. We need to be specific when we give variances.
Well,
So we're going to do 15 feet or the whole 40 or?
If we give them 15 feet, I believe you'll be able to get 41 feet in there. We're not gonna run that number.
That's why, but you don't know what the other people are going to build. I mean, I think there's consensus here, we're going to give the variance, but we need to know what they're going to do so we can be
Gotta take the
specific.
next house up based on where it is sitting.
Yeah, they're 20 foot over or whatever.
27 foot there, time you come out to where the actual ditch, it probably, you're talking about 20 foot property out.
And that's from the road.
Yeah, that's not even from the property line.
Yeah, that's from the actual,
There's your page, which I think that's
it's 60 foot, I believe, on this plat. I mean,
It's
you have
50
to
foot.
drop that line in there.
The road says 50 foot.
50 foot right away, yeah. And so, I mean, even this lot, I mean, he had it resurveyed in 98, but it was originally made in 1986 where Mr. City Moore went and actually made 3 lots into 2, so it's actually bigger than what it was actually intended to be in the beginning.
Well, if you kind of look at the property line that's showing on this map here, that's going to be close. With the right of way there.
How many feet was that just in?
But if you go by that, this house up here is probably 74 foot off the line.
And
7 foot.
So we go with 10 foot variance?
I don't think anybody's going to complain about a 10 foot.
That'd be fine.
In the past, we went 15, we give them 25 foot off the road, off the right of way.
That was so we could get right away though.
Yeah. But at 10 foot, it's hot.
And that, I mean,
Since this does have a 50 foot right of way on the road.
I mean, just honestly, I mean, if you go by a building permit, I mean, they can build right up to the road. I mean, there's not anything.
so if you measure from the center of the road out, a lot of times that Q public is not right as far as what scale.
Well, again, that's what I just done. I pulled out the 50 foot right of way, which would be right along there. Take that down, it's about 14, 12, 10 foot off the line. That one is. Now, y'all do whatever you want to in the other one. I'll just give you something to give a reference to.
Got to remember, we're setting precedents when we do these things.
Well, really,
We've already done it. We've done
there
it.
is no setback in reality.
Exactly. I mean,
There's no setback.
The building ordinance, the setbacks for the residential or commercial buildings, the only setbacks listed in your building ordinance are for poultry houses
Right.
and stack houses. That's the only setbacks that are listed.
It's in the land, it's in the land.
I disagree with that. That's not right, Aaron. That is not right. It's,
Design standard for blocks and lots is where the 40 foot comes in. This is a new design that was established in 2000 for new lots created after 2000.
That's where I'm going.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There's-
Because at that
When he purchased the land, and then we created the setbacks in 2000.
But again, as I told the owners,
the
I
issue,
can't issue a variance for anything. I follow the rules, so that's why we're here.
the issue he's got is the setback to get to a half acre. Because what's currently on the plat is less than half an acre. So we need to be able to define what that setback would be to get him to a half acre, what just makes where you could build. I mean, even though it's typically, it's grandfathered from before, but
It's grandfathered. I mean, this
you
is.
still need to
bigger
get,
than the lots out there in the dewdrop and all that. I mean, which kind of follow that same rule. That was established back in the 60s.
Who owns the well lot?
I'm sure it's Paradise Point.
Yeah, Paradise. They do have county water there.
Well, it's, yeah, I mean, Paradise Point has community water, which.
No, they got county water.
Oh, yeah, county water, man? Oh, that's it.
Panorama Point got county water.
That's good.
They do.
Nice and fire.
That's pretty good. I'm glad you didn't hit one of them. The way I read it, the way I look at it, if we give them 10 foot, they'll be able to build a 36 foot. That's all, the widest house they can get in it. It's 36 feet. We give them 15 foot, it'll be 41 feet. I don't know what size house they plan on building. And that's based on
Yeah, there has been a soil test. You have a 4-bedroom home. I've already.
That's what I'm getting to, how many bedrooms?
I've got a site plan for a 4-bedroom home on this property already.
Do you know the distance from front and back of that house?
I drew I believe it was a 50-foot depth house.
That 10-foot would put him over a half acre, Joey, wouldn't it? It's going to give you about,
It really doesn't matter.
It's kind of like we sitting here trying to hold somebody to a standard that didn't exist.
Yeah. Right, that's what I said. I think we're all saying we'll approve it. We just need to know what we're going to do here so we can approve it.
let's give
They
him a
don't know.
10-foot.
10
That's the
foot.
problem.
Well, if you
give them 10
if you
foot,
compare it to the
they
next
won't
house
build a
down.
50-foot house.
But then the
you're
next
talking
guy comes and says, I need more than 10 foot.
they'd be able to build a 50-foot house, right?
Yeah, he'll have over a half acre if you give him a 10-foot, according to Aaron's drawings here, what I'm gathering.
The area is going to stay the same. I mean, it doesn't, you know.
It don't change your property
It
line.
doesn't change the property.
I know it don't change the property, but he would have use of more property is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Usage.
for the principal structure.
Right.
The setback's only for principal structure.
Right.
I mean, nothing's stopping anybody from going and building a garage 2 foot off the right of way. There's nothing stopping that in your current ordinance.
What I'm
Let
saying,
it hang over the core line 2 feet and see what happens. So that's why the setbacks are there. Core make you tear it down.
I can assure you that I've actually cut things off of houses because they're hanging over the core line.
What I just found out from the code, that there's, it says your rear setback is only if it abuts private property. And at that point, core land is public property. And
Well, that's true.
Did not be a setback even on core property.
I make a motion that we go apply the variance with a 10-foot setback.
I second.
Okay, you're going to have a 10-foot setback still.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So it gives them 30 more
I'm looking at it
feet.
the wrong way. I was looking at going, we was going to give them 10 extra feet. Okay.
No, 10-foot setback.
10-foot
If
setback.
that clears everything up.
I'll give you a second on it.
I think Michael already had
It
it.
already seconded. All right, any other
I'll
discussion?
give you a third.
All right, if not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote.
Did I need to copy you about a letter or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. There you go. I wish
I got an email, I'll probably want to do that tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Transit title.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Dorsey, second by Commissioner Teasley. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote.
Just so everybody knows, this is a thing we have to do every 2 years, house cleaning.
Okay, annexation request, tax parcels 156G, 019, 006, and 006, 001, City of Hartwell. So
I'll make a motion, we approve.
we got a motion by Commissioner Dorsey to approve the annexation.
It meets all the legal requirements.
Yes.
I second it.
Okay, we got a second by Commissioner Carter. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's 5-0 vote. All right, next on the agenda is the defects board appointment. We have one applicant here, Mr. Benny Harper. He's asking for reappointments.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Benny Harper for another term on the defects board.
All right, we got a motion by Commissioner Dorsey, second by Commissioner Carter. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? That's 5-0 vote. All right, now, anyone here for public comment? You are welcome to come and speak at this time if you would like to address the board on any issue. If not, can I get a motion to adjourn and enter into executive session?
Make a motion, we go into executive session for real estate and litigation.
All right, we got a motion by Commissioner Dorsey, a second by Commissioner Teasley. All in favor?